Honorable Election Commissioner Shri Anup Chand Pandey on my right and Shri Arun Goyal ji on my left, senior officers from the Commission, friends from the media, I welcome you all to this press conference organized today in India's own Silicon Valley. Let me throw you first pay our namaskaram and gratitudes to everyone, every voter in Karnataka, and also request them to proactively participate in the forthcoming elections. In these 3 days, the Commission met with all the political parties, their representatives, national political parties. We heard them at length, and also all the Deputy Commissioners, SPs, IGs, Commissioners of Police, VVMP Commissioner, all the enforcement agencies, Chief Secretary, DG. So I'll give you a brief on what transpired, what were the directions given, what is the preparedness. Friends, as you know, population of the state of Karnataka is, as per the 2011 census, is 6.1 crores, and almost consisting of equal male and female population. The term of the Karnataka Legislative Assembly is till 24th of May 2023. So the new assembly has to be in place. Elections have to be completed before that. As you know, there are 224 assembly constituencies, of which 36 are SCs and 15 are scheduled tribe constituencies. If you look at the voters profile of the state, there are 2.62 crores male voters and almost equal number of 2.59 crores female voters. There are, we have taken on ourselves to mark all the persons with disability. So there are 555, and there are 80 plus voters who are 12,15,000. And you will be happy to know that there are close to 17,000 voters who are 100 and plus. This is, and first time voters are 9,17,000. So entire electoral roll has voters ranging from 18 years to 100 years plus. That's the beauty of the democracy and all our inclusive voter list. Friends, a special summary revision is just recently completed. And during the SSR exercise, the Commission has laid emphasis on the new age voters, as I mentioned, the first time voters, the women, transgenders, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, persons with disabilities. We went extra mile to cover all these voters into our electoral rolls. And roll gender ratio in this state is 988. That's a very healthy gender ratio. So the women voters are also almost equal. And as you know, in the last general election to parliament, women voters in 2019 were more than the male voters. So that is what our request to our women voters here also to participate in the forthcoming elections more and more. The senior citizens and PWDs, you would be happy to know that from 2018 we have laid special emphasis that nobody should be left behind. So number of 80 plus electors is 12.15 lakh. And similarly, the persons with disabilities, this is also increased to 5.55 lakhs, which is close to 158%. So this is our concern that, you know, every person with disability should be empowered and come to the voting station. For the first time, as you all know, we are going to provide in Karnataka the facility to all the 80 plus voters and also the PWD voters, if they so desire, to vote even from the comfort of their home. Our teams will go. There is a Form 12D, which will be available within 5 days of the notification, so that any 80 plus citizen voter or the PWD voter desirous of voting from the home because of certain reasons we will facilitate it. Though we would encourage them to come to the polling stations, because that's the real festival of democracy. And many of them want to come. That's our experience in the recently held elections. But still, those who cannot come, they will be facilitated to vote from their home. And all the precautions would be taken to secure the secrecy of the vote. The political parties, candidates would be informed in advance. They would be allowed to go. The entire process would be videographed so that nobody can say that at the home you have taken vote this side or that side. So it's a totally transparent system of voting, and I'm sure the people will take advantage of this. All political parties and the candidates would definitely be informed whenever there is a movement for the voting at the house. The facilities to senior citizens and PWDs further at the polling station would include, will provide a wheelchair to everybody, will provide priority in voting, pick and drop facility, dedicated parking, and there is a new application, IT-based, mobile-based application we have made, the PWD app called Saksham. All the persons with disability can log in and book the facilitation they want at the polling station. They can tell us in advance if they want a help, a volunteer, or a wheelchair or something. And there would be braille ballot facility also for the visually handicapped, visually persons with disability. Inclusively, if we look at the inclusivity of the elections, our special focus is now continuously on connecting with the youth. We'll dwell on this a little more. You would be again happy to know that within a year, because of the special focus, the number of first-time voters in the age group of 18 to 19 has increased from 4 lakh to 9 lakh 17,000. This is our effort to involve all the young voters into the process of elections. It is now actually their responsibility. It's appealed to them through you that all of them should come and vote in the larger numbers. More so, what we have started doing is that if somebody is becoming 18th next year, whosoever is 17 plus, we have also enabled that they can file advance applications. So we already have 1,25,000 applications which are advanced. And you know, this is first time happening after the 4 dates, qualifying dates have been enabled by the legislation change. And because of this, again, if earlier the cutoff date was 1st of January. So if somebody is born on 2nd of January, he'll have to wait for 1 year. Now, out of this 1,25,000 advance applications, there are 41 and 432 applications of those voters who would become 18 by 1st of April 2023. Meaning thereby, they would be able to participate in this election. This has happened because of the amendment which has been enacted in the law, that there are 4 qualifying dates, and these 41,000 voters would be enabled on 1st of April to cast their vote and participate in the democracy. Though it's a big cause of concern that young voters these days are not coming to the voting stations, to the polling stations so much with so much of enthusiasm. 2 things are happening, which we are concerned and are also trying to tackle: the urban apathy and the youth apathy. We had a session in the Indian Institute of Science yesterday. We addressed the youth there. It is in their interest, it is in the interest of democracy that the youth come, and also the urban areas. Just to say in a lighter vein, the time is spent on the social media by the youth, if even 1,000th of the time is taken out, it takes much lesser a time to put a button on the ballot unit rather than on the social media pads. So I'm sure they'll come out. Friends, there are 2 particularly vulnerable tribal groups in the state of Karnataka. The Jenu Kurba and Koraga tribes. We have taken special efforts this time. This is again an inclusive part of our electoral role. Both the PBTGs have a population of 30,517. And all of them have been enrolled as the electors this time, 100%. And there would be 40 ethnic polling stations also in tribal areas for the PBTGs. Similarly, the transgenders. There are 42,756 transgender in the state, and we have registered 41,312. Every person has a right to vote and participate in the festival of democracy. So the women, youth, urban areas, PBTGs, old age, transgender, everybody is a focus of the Election Commission, that everybody participates in the election. I'll now give you this was the electoral part. I'll give you an overview of the polling stations. Total number of polling stations in the state is 58,282, with an average voter per polling station being 883. We will have, as a part of our empowerment, as I mentioned recently, we'll have 1,320 booths which will be managed only by women staff, all women. Similarly, 224, one in each constituency booth would be managed by the persons with disability. So it's not that they are dependent on us, they will show that we can also equally perform, and we'll manage the entire booth. This is our small tribute to them, to show and make them empowered. And through the process of this, the entire society becomes fully sensitized towards the needs and towards the appreciation of the PWDs. We have also started that in order to address the youth, whosoever is the youngest employee of the government, we are setting up 224 booths to be managed by our youth employees, young employees also. 50% of, as of now, 50% of the booths would be direct webcast. The sensitive booths have, I'll tell you about the sensitive booths also. There are 1,200 critical polling stations. Of those, there would be either webcast direct, or there would be a micro observer. So in some way or there would be CAPF. Either of the three as an added precaution, seeing the sensitivity of those elections. Cumulatively, they would be managed by an extra sense of precaution. Just to show you some kind of attempt we would be making to make the polling stations very friendly, your voting experience being very conducive and in the true sense of the festival of democracy. This is to enhance the voters' experience at the polling station. Just a glimpse will be, our DCs will be setting up polling stations, model polling stations to facilitate the voting. As regards the assured minimum facilities, each polling station would have facilities of drinking water, electricity, ramp, and toilet. And since it would be heat time also, they would also have shades. Commission has also started is taking an endeavor, we are taking it on ourselves again, to say that the infrastructure in the schools should not be of temporary nature. You see, this is a wasteful expenditure that every time election comes and in the schools we create temporary infrastructure. So we are emphasizing that now the infrastructure in the schools would be permanent. And we are hopeful that in Karnataka, the infrastructure in terms of drinking water, electricity, ramp, toilet would be of a permanent nature in all these schools. So that's a kind of a gift of the election to the schools, to the students. They have separate toilets, boys and girls. They have ramp. PWD strict watch will also be kept on all the warehouses, godowns, wherever the freebies can possibly be stored or can be distributed from. Uh, Next. And for this, how you can help us in this? Please, through your medium, I want to appeal again, please popularize this. This is an application again which we have made called the C Vigil. C means actually citizens be vigilant. If there is anything which the citizens feel is wrongly happening in the society, somebody is distributing money, somebody is distributing freebies or anything, defacing the property, doing irregular activities, anything. They can write through this app from their mobile or take a photo and upload it. If they want to be anonymous, that is also possible. They may not give their name. But what will happen, we'll take the location, latitude and longitude of the person from where the picture is loaded, and our nearest police QRT will ensure that there is a QRT in a range of 5 to 6 kilometers. The system will automatically guide the nearest QRT, which will reach that place and report back within 100 minutes. People have used this application in other elections. The kind of seizures which increased are because of this. This is also one reason that our intelligence increased, and the common man who always gets affected by these kind of irregular things have felt motivated to inform us. And our system is automated. The moment we get the the moment we get the complaint, it goes to the nearest check unit, QRT, and sector magistrate, and they reach there and report in 100 minutes time. So please popularize this. We'll be very thankful to you that you have enabled us through your citizens to kind of help in seizing all this. Friends, coming to an end, elections after elections, media has been our closest ally. You have been eyes and ears of the commission. It's only just early this year. It is now time to move to the southern part of the country. What a stark difference in terms of geography, culture, and varied challenges that we have in two different sets of states where we are doing the elections. The challenges in Northeast were very different than what we have in Karnataka. But what remains consistent and constant is our commitment to deliver a free, fair, transparent, and inducement-free election. So be it Northeast, South, across the length and breadth of the country, we are committed to do it. And you may recall that the challenges in the recently held elections were more in terms of controlling the violence, handling the tough topography, making the logistical arrangements, making machines move, the electoral machinery move. Whereas in Karnataka, the challenges are of different nature, which I will elaborate. Well, you eagerly must be waiting for the schedule straightway, but just give me 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to tell you the basics profiling. The term of Karnataka Legislative Assembly is till 24th of May 2023. So we have to complete the entire process before that. There are 224 assembly constituencies, of which 36 are reserved for the SCs and 15 are reserved for the STs. Let me just also tell you the electors' profile in the state, because a healthy electoral roll is a prerequisite and a foundation for any election activity and an exercise. Total electors in the states are 5.21 crores, of which male electors are 2.62 and female electors are around 2.59, almost equal. And during the SSR exercise which we completed, the Commission laid special emphasis on the, as I have been repeatedly saying, on the inclusive part of the electoral roll and also the human part of the electoral roll. What does it entail? It means we laid special emphasis on registration of new age voters between 18 to 19 years, women, transgenders, persons with disabilities, and also in Karnataka on the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, who are the disadvantaged groups. If you look at any human development indices, the particularly vulnerable tribal groups are the one who are at the lowest of the ladder. So we said we'll have a special outreach. I'll touch on that in one of the slides. The role gender ratio in the state stands at 988, which is very healthy. And the copies of the electoral rolls, including the process by which it was prepared, have all been shared with the political parties. And the involvement was at every stage. So friends, senior citizens and PWDs, as we have been putting a special emphasis on this part, and it's important in case of Karnataka because it will happen first time in Karnataka. The total number of 80 plus electors is 12.15 lakhs. So you would see that it's an increase of 32% from the 2018. And they also includes 16,976 proud electors who are 100 plus. We'll be having a special outreach for all of them. The persons with disabilities, as you would see a sharp increase because of our focus, has increased to 5.55 lakhs. This is an increase of close to 150% over 2018. And you may ask me how it has happened. It's the social justice departments of the states give scholarships to various persons with disabilities. We also collected data from them so that, we can have an outreach. We can go to their houses and have a special outreach to persuade them, to facilitate them to become our voters. And this is the result of that. And through your medium, we would like to welcome them, pay our gratitudes to all the senior citizens and the persons with disabilities, transgenders, to please come and participate with all vigor in the election. And we are having a special attempt for that, which includes that for the first time, this facility for voting from home would be available in Karnataka to the 80 plus voters and also to the persons with disabilities. It has been a very successful and very reassuring and very happy experience for all of us in the commission. To just report through you, in recently 5 state elections which we have had recently, Himachal, Gujarat, Tripura, Meghalaya and Nagaland, over 73,200 persons with disabilities and 80 plus senior citizens, we have been able to go to their house and take their votes. I mean, for one vote, 3 to 4 persons go. All the political parties are informed, it's videographed so that secrecy is not compromised. But it is worth the effort. It puts a pressure on the administration, on the already strained administration during the elections. But फिर भी इसमें जाना, वोट को लेना घर से सीनियर सिटीजन्स और पीडब्ल्यूडीज का एक बहुत ही सुखद अनुभूति है और इसको हम आने वाले इलेक्शंस में और इसमें लगातार सुदृढ़ करते रहेंगे. So coming to the inclusive elections and connecting with the youth, which is very critical in case of all the elections, but more so in Karnataka and in terms of youth and urban. I'll tell you how. So the first time voters in Karnataka, because of our special effort, as I just mentioned, has increased from 18 to 19 by 9.17 lakhs. And the young electors gender ratio, which was low at 720, has increased to 820. It's a jump of 100%. So means we have been able to get more and more girls in the age of 18 to 19 registered in our electoral rolls. So it's far more gender sensitive now. And all young voters who are turning 18 years by 1st of April 2023 will be able to vote in this forthcoming election. So this again आपके माध्यम से मैं इसको फिर से बताना चाहता हूँ. कमीशन के एफर्ट से 4 क्वालिफाइंग डेट्स का अमेंडमेंट लॉ में हुआ था कि हर क्वार्टर की फर्स्ट डेट. तो हमने एडवांस में एप्लीकेशन जो लेने का प्रोसेस शुरू किया, उसमें 1 अप्रैल को जो लोग 18 ईयर्स के होने वाले हैं उनकी पिटीशंस हमारे पास पहले से आके रखी हैं, और वो भी लोग 41,000 ऐसे हैं जो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस चेंज इन अमेंडमेंट वुड बी एबल टू कास्ट देयर वोट, अदरवाइज दे वुड हैव टू वेट, they would have waited for the next year 1st of January to become eligible. So this is the power of that amendment which we I've just wanted to tell you. And youth participation in the electoral process, as you know, brings in the required energy and rhythm, yielding to a more vibrant and argumentative electoral process, participative electoral process, which is again a very healthy sign for the democracy. And as our National Voters Day theme was, there is nothing like voting. So this is what we are popularizing amongst the youth, and through you also requesting that they, when we have taken so much of effort to make them voters, let them also respond by coming to the polling stations on the date which we'll announce now. Coming to the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, as are again a human face and an inclusive agenda for the electoral rolls. The purity and the inclusiveness and the health of electoral rolls is one of the focus of the commission, more so this year. So there are 2 PVTGs in Karnataka, Jenu-Kurba and Koraga tribes. And the total population is 46,852 and 18 plus is 30,507. And you would be happy to know that we have been able to enroll 100%. Primitive, these 2 PVTGs. और इनके लिए 40 एथनिक बूथ भी हम बना रहे हैं, ताकि वो अपने वैल्यू में, अपने तरीके से they feel happy participating in our elections. Similarly for transgenders, total transgenders in the state as per the records of the department concerned is 42,756, and we have been able to enroll through our outreach in our process 41,312, which is again almost complete. कुछ ऐसे भी लोग हैं जो अपने आप को इलेक्टोरल रोल में एज ट्रांसजेंडर मार्क नहीं कराना चाहते. हमारी उनसे अपील है कि अगर ऐसे कुछ लोग छूट गए तो जिस फॉर्म में, जिस सेंसिटिविटीज़ के साथ वो अपने आप को अटैच मार्क कराना चाहते हैं, हम उसमें एक कदम उनसे आगे बढ़ के उनकी मदद करेंगे और उनको ऐड करेंगे. नाउ आफ्टर वोटर्स टू गिव यू ए फील एंड ए ओवरव्यू ऑफ द पोलिंग स्टेशंस, there are 58,282 polling stations in the state of Karnataka, of which 20,866 are urban. And I'll tell you what special efforts are required for these urban area per polling stations. Average electors per polling stations comes to 883, and we'll be doing as usual the 50% webcasting, which comes to 29,140. On all these sensitive booths which have been identified, we take 4-5 measures. Either there would be a CAPF, or there would be webcasting, or there would be a micro-observer. It's a combination, and cumulatively, through a combination of all of this, we tend to put more vigor and vigil on the sensitive booths. For enhanced voter experience, how do we ensure that voters feel happy, want to come to the booth and take part in the festival of democracy? There would be close to 1,320 polling stations which would be managed exclusively by the women. ये भी उनके हर इलेक्शन में हम कर रहे हैं, उनके एक एम्पावरमेंट का भी पार्ट है. There is a feeling that yes, we can do it, and election exercises in the even remote places. There were booths in the recently held elections which were all managed by the women, including the security personnel. और इसी तरीके से 240 पोलिंग स्टेशंस वुड बी मॉडल पोलिंग स्टेशंस, जिसमें इको फ्रेंडली और ग्रीन बूथ्स उनको बनाएंगे. और ये भी एक नया प्रयास शुरू किया है कि जब यूथ नहीं आते हैं वोटिंग में, तो हम पोलिंग स्टेशंस को भी अपने यूथ जो एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं उनसे मैनेज करें. तो जो भी यंगेस्ट एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं, जिस डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जो भी अपॉइंटमेंट्स रिसेंट हुए हैं, उन्हीं को ट्रेन करके उनको भी एम्पावर कर रहे हैं. तो इसलिए 224 such booths would be set up, which would be managed by only the youngest possible the employees of the government, and 100 booths would be managed purely by the persons with disability. We have started another attempt from the last 3 elections, which is an ongoing effort, that we want to make now the availability of AMF almost permanent in all these schools. And here in Karnataka, we are progressing quite well. As you would see on the slide, we are almost 98-97% in terms of all the parameters, which are ramps, toilets, electricity. I'm sure that, and hopefully, in this election, the time is still there till the elections polling stations are prepared. Whatever 1 or 2% in each category is left, we have emphasized to the state government, for which we have got a quite firm assurance that they will try and convert 100% facilities in all these schools on a permanent basis. And if this happens, which I'm sure, which we are all sure would happen, that's a goal to aspire for the elections coming during the current years in the later this year and also the general election. So friends, now coming to the urban apathy. This is one area, as I said, that in Karnataka the areas of concerns would be different. So urban apathy is one, and money power is another, which will come to after this. So in urban apathy, the total voter turnout in the state is 72.4 in 2018. Against this, as you know, the overall country, if you look at the 2019 general elections, तो जो 20 टॉप के कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसीज हैं जिनमें सबसे कम वोटिंग हुई, उनमें से 9 अर्बन एरिया में, इसके नाम यहाँ दिए हैं, मैं ज़्यादा नहीं पढ़ना चाहता, but they are in the top 20. And if you look at the Karnataka, तो जहाँ 72% वोटिंग है, वहाँ बेंगलोर के साउथ, नॉर्थ, सेंट्रल और बंगलौर में वो वोटिंग काफ़ी कम है. 57, 51, 53, 55, 57 as against 72. And another disturbing trend is that it is reducing even from the earlier election, 2013 election. It was even more in 2013. It is reduced in 2018. So when we went there, we did call a large number of universities, students, and talk to them. And then we also decided that in addition to the awareness activities like the electoral literacy clubs and the voluntary action forums, we'll also do because the Karnataka and Bangalore happens to be the knowledge city and the IT city of the country. So why don't we take advantage of their expertise? So we requested the IT sector, and through you we want to thank that IASC came forward, and they are doing an electhon. Instead of hackathon, we are saying it electhon. For what? They say, we are saying that how to enhance the participation of urban and youth. Can we technologically connect to them more? Can we do outreach in a different way? And how to ensure the registration of new voters more and more? We don't have to work so hard. Is there a problem with our software? Is there a way we can motivate them to do it? How can, from the universities, or from the colleges, schools rather, from the 12th, almost everybody becomes 18. 12 years, 12th class when you pass plus 5 if you add, so mostly 17, 17 and a half and 18. तो आप वोट तो देना शुरू कर रहे हैं, बट आपको एक कमिटमेंट की ज़रूरत है. तो इस इलेक्थॉन में हमने ये भी रखा है कि डिवाइस ए सॉल्यूशन दैट हाउ कैन इट बूस्ट वोटर टर्नआउट ऑन द इलेक्शन डे. और उसका भी एक मेथड हमने और अपनाया, वो भी आपको मैं अभी आगे बताऊंगा. ये कितनी इंस्टीट्यूट्स हमारे साथ इसमें जुड़ गई हैं. इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस, large number of startups, large number of IT professionals. So So we are thankful to all of them. And 47% have added on working on how to do the registration free. Some are working easily. Some are working with us on how to make the youth turn out on the day of election. So this result we will again share with everybody when it comes, the solutions when they are given, and जो आने वाले इलेक्शन से उसके लिए हम लोग समझते हैं कि ये एक हमें ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी या ऐसी आउटरीच बताएगा जो उनकी समझ में आती है, बिकॉज इट्स ए प्लेस where you have most of the educated youth and the urban areas. As regards the candidates, you are all aware, just to repeat the same thing, the know your candidate and the affidavits, all this are available on through the technology. Knowing the candidate is possible through the Know Your Candidate application. And for political parties, these applications are helping them to file the nominations online and to also apply for the entitlements which they have in terms of passes or in terms of booking the grounds for the election rallies, etc. And it is all strictly, everyone has been instructed to follow first in, first out principle. जिसने पहले अप्लाई किया उसका डिजिटल ट्रेल उसमें रहेगा. ऐसा नहीं कि अप्लाई एक पार्टी ने किया और आपने दूसरी पार्टी को जगह दे दी. नहीं, इट इज़ ए फेयर एंड लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड विच दे हैव टू एंश्योर. सी विजिल ऐप की काफ़ी प्रचार कर्नाटका के इलेक्शन में किया है, बिकॉज ये वहाँ बहुत रिलेवेंट है. बिकॉज what new challenge we found in Karnataka is, in addition to the youth and urban apathy, is the money power. So this is being popularized a lot, and I'll share with you even before MCC what had happened. MCC will come in force from today, but when we went there, I'll show you, just because of our sincerity on this subject and telling the district officials and enforcement agencies what is the result. I'll show you that. So before coming to that, just to narrate that in recently held elections, total number of polling stations are given here, and there was no repolling. So we want to carry forward this trend. No violence, no repolling, and no और ईवीएम भी बच गई, उनको भी गाली वाली ज़्यादा नहीं पड़ी. सो मतलब उसी चीज़ को आगे बढ़ाने हुए हमने वहाँ काफ़ी कोशिश की है कि जितने भी पोलिंग स्टेशंस हैं उनमें आप ऐसे प्रोसेसेस को अपनाएंगे, डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट्स आर ऑन द जॉब, दैट they make the experience for the voter very good, so that they are encouraged to come. And some are working even on applications where if we can tell in advance the queue, so that you can plan your visit to the polling station and avoid standing on the thing. This is also a work in progress. The seizures in these 5 elections, just to tell you the kind of rigor and emphasis जो elections को inducement free कराने में किया जा रहा है. 5 elections जो अभी होके चुके हैं उनमें 18 और 17 में जो इससे पहले हुए थे, 43 करोड़ के अगेंस्ट में 1028 करोड़ का सीजर था. एंड इसमें ड्रग सीजर्स, बिकॉज we are saying liquor, drug, money, freebies, and drug in particular, because वो पूरी की पूरी सोसाइटी को और बच्चों को खराब करने की उनमें क्षमता है. So all enforcement agencies, we have said that there is a absolute strict vigil you have to have on movement of any kind of material which can induce the elections, and fairly. And I'll show you what has happened. We are strengthening our teams in Karnataka to curb the misuse of money power. From 1,900 in 2018, we are increasing to 2,400. These are the teams which will have the sensitive constituencies, expenditure observers were increasing, assistant observers, flying squads, and all to put extra pressure and make it clear to all political parties and candidates that money power they have to just zero tolerance, which we are showing from our sides. And just to tell you that the state has 19 districts. Total 171 interstate checkposts are being operationalized for this purpose, where excise department, commercial tax department, police department, and even the forest department in areas where the forests are there and there are checkposts. They may not be the highways or the state ways, but there are the points of entry. All places there would be a strict vigil. And nudging towards ethical elections, there are exercises which are being done with the awareness which is being done. Say, for instance, this is by the commercial department. And just to tell you, it's another, when we talked about it in Nagaland, from civil society, there were groups formed in the villages, and villagers came out resisting anybody who was trying to bribe the voters in the villages. I'm repeating it here just to encourage and thank those citizens who have helped us in curbing the menace of money power.